She was a rising name in Orlando's beauty scene, a young entrepreneur, mother of two, and a licensed celebrity hairstylist building her brand. Known to many as Ruby Kier, she was gaining momentum online and offline, her salon chair booked weeks in advance. Her name increasingly mentioned in local influencer circles. But in the span of one night, her rapid ascent came to a sudden and violent end. 3 weeks before her death, someone close to her made an unsettling statement, one that now seems less like a warning and more like a prediction. The words were casual at the time, lost in the noise of everyday life. But after what happened next, those words would resurface with chilling clarity. Late one night in a housing complex off Mercy Drive in Orlando, what began as a heated exchange between individuals escalated fast. There was shouting, then chaos, and within moments, gunfire. Witnesses scattered as bullets cut through the dark. When it ended, 4 people were shot. Only one didn't survive. She wasn't just a bystander, but also not the person the altercation began with. In confusion and violence, questions quickly outpaced answers. Who started it? Who fired the first shot? And most importantly, was she the intended target, or was she simply in the wrong place at the wrong time? Police made an arrest before the day was over, but what led to the deadly escalation remains a puzzle. As investigators sift through surveillance footage, social media trails, and witness accounts, the full picture is still coming together. What really happened that night? Who was behind the trigger and why? This is a story of a promising life cut short, a violent confrontation, and a search for truth that followed. If you enjoy real crime stories that uncover the truth, don't forget to subscribe. Your support helps us share real cases, spread awareness, and give a voice to those who can't speak for themselves. Before we begin, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? And what are your thoughts as the story unfolds? Welcome to True Crime Uncovered, where we examine the cases that shake communities and expose what happens behind closed doors. Real stories, real people, real impact. Subscribe now and turn on notifications. You won't want to miss what's coming next. In the weeks leading up to her death, Ruby Kier, legally known as Michaela Queen Patterson, was steadily advancing in her professional career. A licensed cosmetologist and entrepreneur in Orlando, Florida, she had developed a growing client base, launched her own hair business, Curesco LLC, and was actively using social media to showcase her work. Her posts displayed wigs, styling transformations, and appointment promotions. She had also built a following of more than 11,000 on Instagram, positioning herself for potential celebrity clientele. Despite her visible progress, reports suggest there were rising tensions behind the scenes. Unverified claims circulated online point to personal disputes involving individuals in her social circle. One of the most widely repeated allegations, though lacking in official confirmation, is that a friend allegedly told Ruby she would be killed. The specific context of this warning has not been made public, and there is no known record of it being reported to law enforcement. Ruby herself never publicly acknowledged the claim. No protective measures or legal complaints were documented in the lead-up to her death. Her social media remained focused on her brand, her clients, and routine content. She showed no indication publicly that she felt threatened. What she did, where she went, or who she communicated with in the final 48 hours of her life has not been released. No last post hinted at any fear, confrontation, or withdrawal. Was there any prior warning that she was in danger? Why was a friend's alleged warning not reported or acted upon? Ruby Kier's final night unfolded at the Jernigan Gardens Apartments, located on Mercy Drive in Orlando. Late that night, what began as a verbal disagreement between two groups quickly escalated. Witnesses on the scene later told police that a heated argument turned physical. Surveillance footage captured portions of the incident, though not all participants have been identified. At some point during the physical altercation, shots were fired. Police confirmed that 4 individuals were struck by bullets. Ruby was among the victims. Emergency medical services responded to the scene, where multiple victims were found injured. Ruby was rushed to Orlando Regional Medical Center. Despite efforts to save her, she was pronounced dead. It remains unclear what role Ruby played in the conflict. Some speculate she may have tried to intervene or defuse the situation, while others believe she may have been caught in the crossfire. Authorities have not released an official account of her specific actions during the event. Who was involved in the initial fight? Was Ruby trying to intervene or avoid the conflict altogether? Orlando police quickly cordoned off the scene upon arrival. Initial steps included securing the perimeter, collecting physical evidence, and speaking with witnesses. Bullet casings were recovered from the ground, and the trajectory of the rounds was analyzed to determine the shooter's position. Surveillance cameras from the apartment complex, along with videos captured on smartphones, helped law enforcement piece together a rough timeline of events. Statements were gathered from residents who witnessed the shooting, though police noted that cooperation was limited. Some social media clips, possibly recorded by bystanders, began to circulate after the incident but were quickly removed or restricted. One theory, based on unconfirmed community claims, is that more than one individual may have fired a weapon. However, only one suspect has officially been charged in connection with Ruby's death. Forensic teams documented the positioning of victims, blood patterns, and ballistic evidence to reconstruct the moments of the shooting. Could the crime have been prevented with earlier intervention? Was there gang, domestic, or interpersonal tension behind the violence? The man arrested in connection with the shooting was identified as 23-year-old Delray Shundale Duncan Jr. He was taken into custody on the same day of the incident and charged with first-degree felony murder and attempted homicide. Authorities allege that Duncan opened fire during the apartment complex brawl, leading to the fatal injury of Ruby Keir and wounding others. At this time, police have not disclosed whether Duncan had a prior criminal record. No motive has been officially released, and investigators have not confirmed any direct relationship between Duncan and Ruby. It remains unknown whether she knew him personally or she was an unintended victim of the chaos. What was the connection, if any, between Duncan and Ruby? Was this a spontaneous escalation or a targeted attack? Law enforcement classified the investigation as active and ongoing. They issued a public call for assistance, asking anyone with information to come forward anonymously through Crimeline. As of the latest updates, the names and conditions of the 3 surviving shooting victims have not been disclosed, nor has their cooperation with authorities been confirmed. The lack of a clear motive, along with limited witness cooperation, has complicated the investigation. Some community members have chosen not to speak to police, whether due to fear of retaliation or personal connections to the people involved. Investigators are reviewing digital evidence, including social media interactions and phone data, to determine what may have led up to the confrontation. No additional suspects have been charged. Despite widespread attention online, major media coverage of the case has been minimal. Why haven't more witnesses come forward? Is there more behind this case than a simple fight gone wrong? As the case progresses, more questions remain than answers. Ruby Keir's death shocked her followers and clients, but the circumstances surrounding her final moments remain clouded in uncertainty. The alleged warning from a friend, the sudden eruption of violence, and the mystery surrounding the shooter's motive all contribute to a story still far from resolved. What truly happened that night in Orlando and why has yet to be fully uncovered. In the days leading up to her death, Ruby Keir, legally known as Michaela Queen Patterson, maintained a steady stream of content on her Instagram page. Her posts featured hair tutorials, client transformations, and motivational captions. One of her final uploads included an inspirational quote about resilience and focus, a theme that had become common across her brand messaging. After the shooting incident that took her life, Ruby's name quickly gained traction on social media platforms. News of her death circulated primarily through Instagram stories, TikTok clips, and reposted content. Friends and clients posted tributes, describing her dedication to her craft and her influence on local beauty culture. Several online influencers who had collaborated with her reshared videos and photos of their past styling sessions, tagging her professional handle, and adding hashtags like #JusticeForRuby and #RubyKeir. Her Instagram account was later converted to a memorialized state by Meta. As tributes grew, so did speculation. Some online users began to speculate that Ruby's murder was the result of professional jealousy, citing her rising public profile and quick success in the Orlando beauty scene. Others suggested she may have been set up, referencing cryptic messages allegedly posted by anonymous accounts and unverified conversations reportedly held weeks before the incident. Despite the growing wave of online activity, no official comment has been made by Ruby's family or close friends regarding any potential motives behind the shooting. Theories surrounding jealousy, betrayal, or hidden personal tensions remain unconfirmed. Without public statements from those closest to her, the online narrative continues to rely on speculation, leaving many unanswered questions. Did her rapid growth and rising public profile make her a potential target? Were there underlying disputes or rivalries not visible to the public eye? Following the incident at Jernigan Gardens Apartments, law enforcement officials arrested 23-year-old Delray Shundale Duncan Jr. on the same day. He was charged with first-degree felony murder and attempted homicide. Authorities confirmed his involvement through preliminary eyewitness accounts and surveillance footage reviewed from the scene. Duncan was arraigned shortly after his arrest. However, his legal team has not issued any public statements regarding his plea or legal strategy. Court documents have not been made publicly available, and no hearing or trial date has been announced to date. The case remains in the pretrial phase as prosecutors continue reviewing evidence and preparing their arguments. The prosecution is tasked with proving that Duncan acted with intent and that his actions directly led to the death of Ruby Keir. Establishing motive will be critical, especially as early reports suggest that Ruby may not have been a direct participant in the physical altercation that led to the gunfire. Clarifying whether she was a bystander or an intended target could significantly influence the outcome of the case. No additional arrests have been made as of the latest updates. Police have not released any information about other suspects or accomplices, though some social media claims suggest more individuals may have been involved in the brawl or its escalation. These claims have not been corroborated by official sources. Traditional media coverage of the case has been limited. Most updates have come through blogs, independent crime reporters, and user-generated content on platforms like TikTok and Instagram. Local news channels reported the incident in the immediate aftermath, but have provided few follow-up stories. Will the investigation lead to more arrests or charges? What specific pieces of evidence, such as witness testimony, ballistic analysis, or digital communication, will determine the prosecution's success? Ruby's death highlighted ongoing concerns about community violence, especially in residential areas like Mercy Drive, which has seen previous incidents involving gun violence. Following the shooting, local residents and community advocates called for increased police presence, improved conflict resolution programs, and youth outreach initiatives. The incident reignited conversations about gun access, neighborhood safety, and preventative measures in housing communities. Nonprofit organizations and local leaders emphasize the need for proactive engagement, including mediation services and crisis intervention training for youth. Although no large-scale public policy changes have been announced, community-led petitions and neighborhood forums have increased in frequency since the event. Several memorial events were held in Ruby's honor. These included balloon releases, candlelight vigils, and fundraisers to support her two surviving children. Donations were organized through GoFundMe and local salons where she had previously worked. The community's response, though largely informal, demonstrated a collective concern about rising violence and its impact on families and small business owners. The tragedy has also drawn attention to a broader trend of youth violence in Orlando. Law enforcement reports show a rise in firearm-related incidents involving individuals under 30. Ruby's case is now part of a growing list of similar incidents that have occurred in residential zones. How many incidents like this have occurred in Orlando this year? What are local authorities and communities doing to address the root causes of violence? Several critical elements of this case remain unresolved. While an arrest has been made, police have not confirmed whether Ruby was the intended target of the shooting or an unintended victim caught in the crossfire. The absence of detailed witness statements and the limited release of evidence leave this point unclear. The events leading up to the physical altercation are also not fully understood. Initial reports reference an argument between two groups, but no detailed description of the conflict's origin has been publicly provided. Without a clear timeline or motive, public understanding of the sequence remains fragmented. One of the most persistent rumors stems from an online claim that a friend of Ruby allegedly told her weeks before the shooting that she would be killed. No official verification of this claim exists, and authorities have not addressed it publicly. However, the spread of this claim has influenced online narratives and increased interest in Ruby's private relationships. Another unresolved aspect involves whether other individuals were involved in planning or escalating the situation. If the case expands beyond Duncan, further charges may be possible. For now, the investigation has not moved in that direction, at least not in any publicly documented way. The trial, when scheduled, may provide new information through testimonies and evidence presentation. Until then, much of what happened before, during, and after the shooting remains a matter of ongoing inquiry. Was Ruby simply in the wrong place at the wrong time, or was she deliberately targeted? What will emerge during trial proceedings that hasn't yet been made public? Is the case truly isolated, or part of a larger pattern of unspoken community conflicts? If you found this story as gripping and heartbreaking as we did, don't forget to like this video and share it with others. And if you want to hear more true crime stories that uncover the mysteries behind these tragic events, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. You won't want to miss our latest stories, updates, and discussions. Thank you for joining us on this journey to seek justice and explore the truth. Together, we can make a difference. Until next time, stay safe and stay aware.